friends, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to the Sophomore Drome. 2 albums go in, only one will survive. Who will it be today? And today's battle is based around new wave 80s synth pop. 2 bands that their second albums they were still finding their feet, and the bands are the Human League and the Thompson twins. Now, the band that get released first goes first, and in this case it is the Human League. They were formed in Sheffield, and they were an experimental electronic outfit signed to Virgin in 1979. They were still trying to find their feet when they released their second album in May of 1980, Travelogue. It wasn't until the next album before they hit the stardom. So this also was the last album to feature founding members Ian Craig Marsh and Martin Ware, who would leave to go on and form Heaven 17 later that year. So you've got Phil Oakey, Ian Craig Marsh, Martin Ware and Philip Adrian White. So the first track on Travelogue is a track called The Black Hit of Space. Now I really like this. It's got that real sort of depth new wave sound. The synthesizers sound great. It's very quirky. It's a very, very good track. Then we have Only After Dark. This has got one of them sort of bassy synthy lines that really gets into your head. It's so overpowering. It's sort of, you lose everything else in the song. It's a shame because it although it's a really good bass sort of line, it's overpowering. Then we get Life Kills. It's really good. It's very new rave. We've got a little bit of, you expect some guitar in there, but it's not. It's all done on the synths. Phil Oakey's vocals are fantastic. They always have been. Even to this day, he can still sing. It's not a bad track. You could see where they were going with that one. Dreams of Leaving, and this is an interesting track, especially the little bit in the middle. It goes all over the place, and then it all comes back in. Interesting. Then we get Toyota City. I quite like this one. It's got some nice tones on the keyboards. It's very eerie and mystique and ambient. It's a really good track. Then we get Crow and the Baby. It's my second favourite track off this album, and it's also a track that really starts to shape what was coming. They were evolving on this album, and there's little bits of signs of what was to come on that. It's a really, really good track. The Touchables, another good song. The sound was there. Great vocal from Phil Oakey. Really, really good. Then we get a track called Gordon's Gin, and it's actually written by Jeff Wayne. It feels like it as well. The words, it's got his stride. It's not a bad track. Then we get Being Boiled. Now, they did rehash it a little bit to make it into a single, but this is the original version, and it still remains one of my favourite Human League songs. I just love that catchy. I just love it. It's an absolute killer song from Human League. And then we get the last track, which is WXJL Tonight. Probably the weakest track on the album. It certainly is a last track on the album sort of feel to it. Okay, I think this album is a very important album. It gets forgotten about because of what come next, but this is where they really started to develop that sound that we got to really love about the Human League. I really think this is important, and it's a real good album. So what did the critics write? Well, there's not been much written about this. 2 songs released were singled on here, the first being Being Boiled, which was part of the Holiday EP. and it's also got a cover of Mick Ronson's Only After Dark. It was reissued as well. Neither of these were successful. Being Boiled became a top 10 hit in 1982, but it was a remix of the single. And that Gordon's Gin was an advertising jingle for Gordon's Gin, written by Jeff Wayne. So yeah, there's not much been wrote about it, but there are some review scores. AllMusic gave it a 2.5 stars. Mojo gave it a 4 stars. Music gave it 5 stars out of 5. Q gave it a 4 out of 5. Rolling Stone gave it 2. Smash Hits 8 out of 10. Sounds 3, and Uncut 4. Not too bad, you know, apart from a couple that I expect, but the poppy magazines thought it was good. And it did chart in the UK, in the album charts. It got to number 16. So let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of Travelogue. Okay, song quality. It wasn't there yet, but it was starting to develop. There's some really good songs on here. I mean, I think Being Boiled is just a classic now. So I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. Production. The production is really good on this for 1980. Very clear and precise. That's a lot. I think that has a lot to do with Philip Adrian Wright, who played a major part on the next album, of course. So I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Reception, top 20 set album, pretty good. A lot of the magazines liked it, so I'm going to give that a 4 out of 5. Cover design. It says Human League. Yes, Huskies in the Snow. It's alright, I suppose. It's not the best, so I'm going to give that a 3 out of 5. So for Travelogue by the Human League gives us a total of 14 out of 20. So let's move on to the Thompson twins. Again, they were formed in Sheffield. You can see why I put them together. They are two Sheffield bands. They were formed in 1977. And there was a new wave group, but they switched more to mainstream pop and achieved more success in the mid-80s. They actually changed their name to Babel in 1993 to become a dub thing, and yeah, they did break up and it wasn't successful. But they got their name, the Thompson twins, from the two bumbling detectives, Thompson and Thompson, from Tintin. And at various stages, up to 7 members, but the best known was a trio from 1982 to 1986. Now their second album, Set, came out in 1982, and on here it's Tom Bailey, vocals, piano, synthesizer, and percussion. We've got Peter Dodd, synthesizers, guitar and percussion. John Roog on the guitars, Matthew Seelman on bass, Chris Bell on drums, Alana Curry, percussion and saxophone, Joe Leeway on the congas, and additional musicians on synthesizers, the one and only Mr. Thomas Dolby. First track up is In the Name of Love. Now this is one of their most popular songs, that still is. It's a great early synth pop song, catchy, very, very good track. Then we get Living in Europe. The bass is good, but the sound is a little bit off kilter. It sort of puts a mocker on the track. It's not the strong track at all. I don't know what was going on. Then we got Bouncing, It's pretty good. It's got a lot of nice beat to it. Again, a band still developing their sound. There's little glimpses of what was to come. Like Human League, their next album was the big one. Tok Tok, that sound was developing. It's quirky. Great vocals from Tom Bailey, very good singer. Then we got Good Gosh. It's very disjointed, this one is. It's not my favourite song on the album. It seems like it's 3 or 4 ideas just put together to try and make a song. Then we get The Row. Now this is really good, it's quirky. The synthesizer sound is really quirky on that. Nice melody as well. Runaway, another good track on this album. A very catchy tune. Vocals are outstanding on that track, one of the best tracks. Another Fantasy, there's some really good guitar bits on this. It's got a good beat to it as well. Fool's Gold, it sounds like a little bit of what Simple Minds were doing at the time. There's nothing wrong with that, you know, they sort of influenced by other bands. It's a pretty solid track. Then we get Crazy Dog. I'm not a big fan of this. Again, it's a little bit disjointed, but the middle bit's got a lovely little keyboard run in it. And the last track is Blind. Some nice singing on this. It's not a bad track to end the album. As I said, that just like the Human League, they weren't the finished article. This is work in progress. But again, there are glimpses of what was to come on their next album. I think this is pretty good. You know, they were going in the right direction. So what was written about it? Well, there's not much again, but there's a retrospective look at it. Set is regarded as the final of the 2 experimental pop records that the Thompson twins recorded before moving into mainstream sound. Matthew Seligman, it was a great asset to this band apparently, and Set is to its predecessor a product of participation. He praises the album and totally listenable dance music that doesn't beg suspension of critical faculties, highlighting songs like In the Name of Love and Bouncing. So, personal ratings, the only one is the Encyclopedia of Popular Music, and they gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Got to number 48 in the charts. Okay, let's have a look at the nuts and bolts of this one. Song quality. The songs were coming. There were some quirky songs on here. Again, it's work in progress, so I'll give that a 3 out of 5. The production. Very good production. I think production on these pop synth albums at the time, it was a breath of fresh air in music, and I think the production on this is super. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 4 out of 5. Reception. Unfortunately, it sort of didn't do well. Didn't even get the top 20. Managed to get the top 50. Still got lots to do, so I shall give that a 2 out of 5. Cover design. Yeah. If it had a better cover, would it have sold more? Probably. Set, you can't read it. Thompson twins, it needs to be a bit more, and that mash and the sort of man with a halo, or looks like he's got a disc on his head, not the best. So I'm going to give that a 2 out of 5. So for Thompson twins, Set gives us a total of 11 out of 20. As the points are there indicated, it is a big win for Human League. Now, listening to these 2 albums, I'm going to have to go with Human League as well. I think in the stakes, Human League were just a tad in front of Thompson twins at this stage, but in the next couple of years, both bands would come to make two great albums and really launch their careers properly. So today we have got a winner, Travelogue, Human League. Okay, it's time to vote now. Now the vote is in the old community page, or as it's known now as posts, and there will be a poll tonight in the live stream. Okay, that's all for this. I'll be back soon, and it's pick and mix, and we've got a trip down memory lane, which means we're going to have a look at the UK charts on this day from 1980. So join me for that. Bye for now.